Arise.
Nigeria's business community has shown solidarity with millions of Nigerians affected by the ongoing crisis in the country's northeast during the launch event of the Nigeria Humanitarian Fund private sector initiative held in Lagos on the 15th of November.
This is the very first time the private sector is coming together with United Nations Humanitarian Fund. Of this very noble cause, I encourage all well-meaning Nigerians, NGOs, and entrepreneurs to support this joint initiative of the United Nations and the Nigerian private sector in ensuring that we all collectively are able to make meaningful and well-deserved collective contributions.
Together, we will write a new chapter in the history of the United Nations Nigeria Humanitarian Fund by creating the private sector initiative. The Nigerian Humanitarian Fund private sector initiative is a simple, powerful funding mechanism to pool donations, resources, and innovations to create a more effective response to the humanitarian crisis.
It is important to re-emphasize that business, government, development, and humanitarian agencies all together have a fundamental role to play in building and maintaining security and sustainable peace and stability in Nigeria.
If we, from the private sector, step in and provide some kind of support to those who are already helping this crisis, we should be able to solve these problems. You know, history would never forgive us if we didn't step up and support this initiative.
The conflict has claimed the lives of 27,000 civilians, and it's left over 7 million people in dire need of humanitarian assistance. This initiative engages the private sector to help meet the most urgent, life-saving needs of millions of Nigerians in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states.
Of these displaced people in the northeast of Nigeria, 80% are women and children. This fund helps bring water, sanitation, food, livelihood activities, health, shelter to people who have fled their homes from violence and other atrocities that have happened in the northeast of Nigeria.
The launch marks a historic occasion as the first ever funding mechanism in which the private sector will allocate funds to a country-based pooled fund for humanitarian action managed by the UN alongside traditional donor countries and in support of the government of Nigeria.
Within Nigeria, it's a sad fact that a woman born in the northeast is 10 times more likely to die in childbirth than a woman born in the southwest. The humanitarian community know what to do. They're working in challenging conditions every day. And together we averted a famine in 2016, and I have seen this progress with my own eyes.
It also opens up an avenue to harness the entrepreneurial and solutions-oriented drive of Nigeria's dynamic private sector to the recovery process, enabling business leaders to pool their diverse resources to alleviate the suffering of their fellow Nigerians.
This creative and generous effort is about leveraging innovative partnerships between the private and public sector to achieve real impact on the ground. Thanks to your vision and generosity, Nigerian businesses will be able to pool funds, resources, and ideas to provide life-saving assistance to the population of northeast Nigeria.
The fund is, has done quite a lot for the people of northeast Nigeria to date. Of the 70 million, we have spent $67 million in multiple projects across the region. It is important to be here today as the fund, which is run by the United Nations, is now sort of merging with what we call the private sector in Nigeria. This is the first time the private sector across the world, in all the countries that we work, has collaborated with the United Nations to come together, to work together for the people of northeast Nigeria.
The launch saw more than a dozen business leaders from the banking, energy, legal, and consumer services sector join as founding members of the initiative's steering committee, setting an example for future private sector engagement in humanitarian responses around the world.
Arise, O compatriots.